Hello, and thank you for joining us on the Bad Moms in Business podcast. My name is Bridgette.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Danielle.
And today we are talking about the struggles of being a working mom, something I think everyone listening can identify with. So I guess I'll start. We'll just get right into it. One of my biggest struggles is trying to coordinate work and my kids' after school activities. Being in business for myself, I can kind of create my own schedule in a sense, but there's also the pressure of being available when your clients are available. And a lot of the time that coincides with soccer practice and karate and Bible study and, just there's so many things.
For sure.
Our schedule is just full. So that's one of my biggest struggles is trying to fit everything in and not letting anyone down in the process.
That's a good one.
It is a good one. I can totally relate to that, and I'm sure a lot of people can too. Not necessarily because of the extracurriculars, but just having a busy life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, your thing is extracurricular. Danielle's thing might be something else, and another mom might be. I mean, we fill our calendars so full. We really do. And like we talked about last week, a lot of what we deal with is really self-inflicted. We sign up for that abuse. We do. Why do we do that, ladies? I don't know, but it's just what we do.
I don't know.
I always say I spend 90% of the time hoping that the things I sign my kids up for will be canceled.
I can relate on that just because of my own things that I schedule for myself.
Yeah.
Like, we're introvert. What?
Yeah. Yesterday was Indigenous People Day, and I was like, I wonder if karate is closed today. They weren't.
That is so funny.
Oh gosh.
Well, I'll transition into my, I think, biggest hurdle as a working mom. And that is, tell me I'm not the only mom who struggles with this, but the absolute burden of having to work around meals and the lack of being able to put something nutritious on the table. And I'm just going to full disclosure, judge me if anyone wants to, I hate cooking. And so when you hate cooking, plus you have very little ability to do so, it just is a disaster. And so I find myself too cheap to eat out most of the time. So again, buttered noodles way too often. And thank the Lord, Owen does like them.
Yeah. No, that's a real struggle. And then you throw in a picky eater on top of it, and it's just forget it.
Word.
Forget it.
Owen used to be the pickiest eater alive. I mean, I know many moms probably feel that they have the pickiest eater alive, but oh my goodness, it was such a struggle to get that child to eat. And then, but you don't want to get frustrated at the same time because you only have so much time to cook. So you just want to be able to cook something he will eat because then at least he'll be fed.
Right.
Oh, what a struggle for me. That is by far my biggest hurdle.
I believe it. I feel that on so many levels. So many levels. But here's the kicker, right? So not only do I absolutely despise cooking, bless Brandon for constantly cooking for us around here, but I am also the picky eater. So,
that's right.
So I know I'm a horrible picky eater. And even one step farther than that, it's not just that I'm super picky about the foods that I do eat, but also I want to eat what sounds good. So a lot of times he'll be like, hey, I'm going to make chicken tonight. And I'm like, let's rethink that. And he's like, listen, you're not doing the cooking. I'm going to cook what I want. So I feel that on every level.
It's struggle. So is that your biggest struggle as well, Danielle, or do you have something else as well?
It's definitely one of them. Oh, I could go on for days about my struggles as a mom. Being a new mom has hands down been one of the hardest things that I've ever done. I would say, so before Watson came along, I am a self-proclaimed workaholic. I am fully aware of this. I will admit it to anybody. So I would say one of my biggest struggles is coming up with that work-life balance.
Sure.
I go 120% on everything that I do, and work and being a mom fall right into that. So I struggle really hard with like the mom guilt. We don't need to get into that today, but I struggle really hard with making sure that I'm putting in that 120% all the time for work and home. And it's just a constant struggle.
Well, and it's exhausting
It
because
is.
you can't be juggling everything at once. Something
No.
has to slide to the back burner. And for someone like you, that's got to be super difficult.
It is. And I heard this this saying once. I have no idea who said it. I'm sure it's like a famous quote somewhere, but every time you say yes to something, you inadvertently say no to something else.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so I try to think that when it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm still working, that I'm saying no to my family or to my sleep or to my personal time or alone time or whatever it is. I'm saying no to that by saying yes to doing something for work at a time that I really don't need to be doing that.
Absolutely, because that no might not be to Watson, but it's going to be
Right.
possibly to yourself, which
Right, absolutely.
Our mental health and our care, I think moms put ourselves on the back burner before anyone else. And I saw this wonderful, speaking of analogies, it was my friend posted it on Facebook, and it was basically like motherhood is like juggling, being a working mom, I should say, is like juggling a bunch of balls.
Mm.
But you need to know that there are some glass balls and some plastic balls, and knowing that plastic balls are okay if they occasionally get dropped, but you can't drop the glass balls. And I love that because like Owen's a glass ball, this is a glass ball, these are plastic balls. You know, if they break, they're going to bounce a little bit. I can pick them back up when it's time. And I really love that because it was a visual to kind of just put things into perspective a little bit, because you can't do it all.
Love that. I seriously, I've never heard that before.
I've never heard that either. There's another quote that I love, which is, you can do anything, but you can't do everything. And I think but we kill ourselves trying to do everything. And inadvertently, like you said, something gets dropped. And for me, it's usually like laundry.
What a shame.
I know. I can't be the only one that is never caught up on laundry, right? Ever. Never.
I enjoy doing laundry, so I am so. But dishes.
See, and I'm not going to say that I enjoy doing dishes, but if my kitchen is clean, I feel at peace.
That's, I think, a lot of women. That is, if the kitchen seems put together, and I'm looking around like at my kitchen right now, and it's not put together right at the moment. But you know, look at what's behind me, not in front of me.
That's it.
But it really, like, I try to always make my bed every day, because I do feel like made bed, it just makes me psychologically feel good. And my kitchen, when it is clean, I feel really good. It's just right now, my kitchen is my office at the end of the day.
I mean,
so
that's
it's never
the nature
really
of this
picked up.
year. It's, oh my gosh, making your bed every morning. There's like studies done on that and how it just boosts your productivity and your mood right off the bat. I don't do that.
I think a lot of people
every
don't.
time I make my bed, I'm like, I should do this every day. I'm going to do this. And then no, it just doesn't happen. But that's fantastic. I love that. Of course you would do that. Of course you would.
That's the only thing I do.
I was going to say the study that says you're more productive and, you know, like a generally nicer person. Maybe that's why I'm an unproductive grouch, because my
girl, same.
Never.
Listen, I don't know if it makes me more productive, but it does absolutely 100% make me feel better and be in a happier spirit.
Maybe I'll work
on that. Like the sun is out and shining just because my bed is made. That's so silly.
Does anybody feel, I was just about to say, I'll start that in 2021, but does anybody feel like they have to wait for like a start of a new week or a start of a new month or a new year in order to like kick off a new habit? Like, I can't possibly start on a Wednesday. That's just blasphemy. Like, why? I don't know why I feel like that.
My whole life is having deadlines that are further in front of me when it comes to things like myself. Like, oh, I should start exercising next month. This month is a full month.
Right. I mean, you can't. It's in the middle of the month. You can't start right now.
What regimen starts in the middle of the month? And it really should be like you just pick it up now and just adhere to it. But that is hard to get motivated.
For sure.
It is.
Especially when our minds, I believe, since we were born, are trying to think like Sunday through Saturday, 1 week. Like we are trained to think Mondays, Tuesdays, and not just, in a month where we're not really sporadic, that we're trained to think that, we can easily start something on a Thursday. That's just not how it's been kind of ingrained in our head.
Nope.
Maybe this future generation will have a little bit more of a whimsical approach to life.
Just not us.
Just not us. We're too we're like
too far gone.
We're broken.
Cannot be saved.
No, we're too far gone. So I guess I would love to ask our viewers, for me personally, what secrets, tricks have they found that can help me personally be not a better cook, because it is what it is.
Besides professional help on that.
Yeah. And I don't want to spend the money on
what
that.
else I could do.
But what tips, tricks into being able to, prepare a meal that isn't always a crock pot meal either.
Mm-hmm.
Because those do get old. And Marcus will always say, it's just like they're always soggy. Like I'm always eating a soggy meal. And I that's fair.
I mean, it is fair, but also I feel like I have grown to like that, because that's what we do so often. It's kind of like, I'm a terrible cook. I get it. It's, it's just not my deal. So I have grown to like the taste of burnt food as well, which everybody finds really bizarre, but I do. Like, they even used to make like those burnt chips.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They still
Right
have
up my
those.
alley.
I'll get you a rainbow. I think they're called rainbow bag or something like that.
I think they are. Yeah. That's my deal all the way. And I think it's because I'm such a terrible cook that I just burn everything. And therefore now I've grown to like it.
It's an acquired taste. What makes me, I think about this a lot, is I'm not a good cook either. Anyone who's ever tried to eat anything of mine will tell you that. But one of the things that makes me sad is I come from a family of good cooks. Like, Amanda, Grandma Sharp. Come on.
Very talented, yes. Like, they have the gift of it.
Yeah, my mom, a good cook. And I think about that growing up, having meals with my mom or my grandma. I'm like, oh my gosh, my kids are going to remember going through McDonald's drive-thru.
But, I feel like that could be looked back as a fond memory. We don't know how the kids are going to remember what they remember.
Great point.
Yeah.
I mean, it was such a fun thing to be able to go out and eat at a restaurant when you actually could, and do drive-through, just because it was, well, for me, it was more of a seldom occurrence possibly than what your boys are being blessed with, because I think that's fun. I mean, they spend millions of dollars making sure that people crave that particular sandwich, burger, whatever it may be. So they're enjoying what they're eating. It's not like you're feeding them slop like me. I won't be like, Mom, remember that one time you made meatloaf and it was so bad? All right, quick story. So sorry to get off topic, and it's going to have the word poop in it. But to this day,
Disclaimer.
So when we were in the military, I'm so sorry to get sidetracked, but this just goes into the memories that children will have for the rest of their lives. We did not have a lot of money. It was military pay. Every Friday, I had friends come over, our dear friends come over, and we would have game night. And I was trying to cook something really cheap, and I was like, I can make a cake. But I only had like so much of the ingredients. No. And so I kind of made the cake okay, but I tried to make homemade frosting, and it was like water and brown sugar mixed together, but it didn't dissolve, and it was super gritty, and I poured it on the cake, and everyone tasted a little bit. And so that cake has been deemed the sand poop cake. And so that is my legacy. When I die, my tombstone will probably say, maker of the sand poop cake.
Oh my gosh.
That is what Owen remembers. Like, And he was so small. And I go, all the decent things I cooked, and that's what he has to remember. My legacy. Santa.
That's the fun stories, though. I mean, that's cute.
Yeah, so at least your boys get to remember, like, eating McDonald's.
I mean, we don't go there every day. Don't let me lead you astray. We're not solely just keeping them in business, but it is definitely more often than what I would prefer.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it goes back to, I have a job where I have to satisfy my clients and work within their time constraints, and sometimes that's what we have time for. So
I think that's an important note, just to kind of personalize our struggle, since it's all kind of a food issue, is when you work in sales like we do, like what Bridgette just said, it truly is working around the time restraints of the client to a good portion, extent. And so we may be literally leaving for an appointment when we should be starting to cook. And that's what's really difficult. Or we might not be here to press the start button on a 4-hour crock pot meal.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that goes into what I was saying to you guys yesterday. We were talking about, what our struggles are and what we were going to talk today about. And I said, we get home at 3:30 from school, and at 5:00 we have to be out the door. 4:30 is too early to eat, but by the time we get home, it's too late. Mm-hmm. And on Mondays, there's just this sweet spot where we have an hour, or half hour, and we're still sitting at the karate school because it doesn't make sense to go home. McDonald's is next door. Like, what else do I know I could pack lunches and stuff, but at the end of the day, they've had packed lunches for school. It's just so much. It really is.
It is.
For sure.
And then you have to worry about a cooler and all of that other stuff. And it goes back to like having to leave the house with a diaper bag, something that Danielle's still dealing with. But like once you break those chains, it's hard to go back and just plan for that. Not only that, when you actually add up all the pricing to do a pack to lunch type dinner, it's really not much cheaper than McDonald's these days. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it might not be healthier either if we're doing processed foods and stuff. So it's hard to not feel guilty or bad or whatever, but it's such a common struggle that we're not alone.
No. And that's why I think it's important to talk about this stuff, because there are a lot of moms who are going to be listening to this while sitting in a fast food drive-through.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes, for sure.
That gave me goosebumps. Like, can you imagine?
I'm inspirational. It's fine.
No, like, think that we could be in somebody's car. Like, Bridgette listens to only Hamilton podcast. And other thing in the car. Yeah, like we could be that somebody, and they could be in the drive-thru while we're speaking of this topic.
I know. If you are currently sitting in a drive-thru listening to this, please let us know. And let us know what you ordered. I'm interested.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. I want to know what you ordered. Also, to the probably very few, if the three of us are having the same exact issues right now as far as food is concerned, I'm sure lots of other moms are having the same issue. But if there are a few of you out there that have this figured out, please let us know.
Please let us know. And I think either way it comes out, whether they're helping us or not, at least we're going to feel definitely not alone. By
right, for sure.
Same. And then the people who can maybe help us out, man, oh man. And I've tried the Instant Pot, and I don't know that it's any faster sometimes than, say, preheating the oven or whatever it may be. So I mean, I do have a really good one. So I'm open to all of those recipes or tips.
Same.
Because I think we all have
Instant
Crock Pots and Instant Pots.
Yes. And I'm a little afraid to use the Instant Pot. We've used it a couple of times, but she scares me a little bit.
I absolutely agree with you. I watched several YouTube videos on it, and I'm always so impressed when they so casually are like, hit the release button. I'm like, how do you do that? I'm so laid back. Like, I'm like, take cover.
I take like a fork and push that button and jump
there
that.
She blows. I mean, there's an intimidation factor to that Instant Pot.
Oh God,
the Crock Pot is not like that. There's something safe about the Crock Pot.
Unless you're a This Is Us fan and you know how that
So yeah, I've never watched that show
Me
a day
either.
in my life. It's just not my deal. I don't enjoy
Emo-
emotions. But I've heard sad.
It
First of-
was it was sad. I did see a clip on that. And it's that I just hear is an overall very sad show, but
It
That's
is.
what I've heard.
it just seems phenomenal. Everyone speaks super highly of it.
Yeah, it's good. It's
I
good.
love it. So I guess we do have some more time that we can talk about some strengths. I don't want to just be like Debbie Downers this
Yeah, we should
morning
end on
or
some
this
positives here.
afternoon. So let's talk about some strengths. Bridgette, do you mind going first? Because you're, the B of the bad.
Yeah. So honestly, I had to kind of rack my brain a little bit because I'm like, strengths, I don't have any.
Can I stop you just for one quick second? I'm sorry, but like that's society talking.
Yeah.
Because everyone has strengths, and we've just been told that we can't necessarily say them because it's not bragging. You can have a strength as a mom, a working mom.
I feel like for me, it's hard to think of a strength because a lot of times they can be seen negatively.
Fair.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know.
But that's society thinking
It
it's
is.
a negative thing. So sorry to interrupt, Bridgette, but I just wanted to dive into that. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. So one thing I try really hard at, because again, my business takes me out a lot of the time on weekends, a lot of the time during the evening. And so I try very, very hard to have one day that is devoted to the boys. And so, pre-COVID, that might have looked like going to dinner and a movie or taking them to a bounce park, whatever. But just 2 weekends ago, Chris went hunting and it was just the boys and I. And I said, let's go to the store. So we went to Meijer and we bought a bunch of junk food, speaking of food.
I love
and
that.
we came home and we camped out in the living room and we watched Halloween movies and we ate popcorn. And it was so nice. And while the boys are not going to remember me as being a wonderful cook, I do hope they remember those days, the fun days. So I try and do that. I can't say I'm successful every single week. It just depends on our schedules, but at least a couple times a month, I really try hard to make sure that happens.
And those are wonderful lasting memories. And I saw you that day and the boys were super excited about that.
You did see me. I forgot about that.
Yeah, she was delivering my microphone that I'm using today. And they were super excited about that. So bravo, mama. That is really, really, really good. My strength is a little different. It's not necessarily like memory. I have a ridiculous endurance to deal with people calling me a helicopter mom. And judging me for how I mother. And because I am over the top, anyone who knows me, a lot of our viewers do. And I am often the butt of the joke because of the way I mom. And I'm okay with that because I want maybe Owen's memory to be that no matter what, like I showed up for him, like in every single circumstance he needed me to. So that's mine. I mean, I take a lot of slack for it, but I am that helicopter mom. If there was something above
be proud
helicopter mom, it would be me.
I'm following right along in your same footsteps, so I'll be there. I'll be there. So my strength, it took me a long time to come up with what I was going to say because again, I feel like everything can be spun into a negative. Mm-hmm. I think one thing that I've really been focusing on since Watson's been here is, like I said, I am so 120% with work and home. That's just how I am. But I feel like, especially this year, I've really tried to focus on when I'm working, I'm working. When I'm at home, I'm at home. And I've really tried to, well, obviously when I'm at home, sometimes I'm working because, COVID
this year.
But also, I mean, like when I'm spending time with my family, it's time with my family. So Brandon and I, we do run our business together. And a lot of times that line can get blurred as well. but just realizing like, okay, time with my family means time with my family, and really trying to be strict with myself and drawing that line. So when I'm hanging out with Watson or playing with him or reading him stories, I'm not thinking of work or texting or answering emails or something like that. I've been strict about I'm spending time with my family.
And I think at Watson's age, that's so important.
It really is. He's learning so much, and I don't want him to, I mean, every once in a while he'll see both me and Brandon working at the same time, and he just gets so, I mean, he's an only child right now. We don't know if we're going to have any other kids. And so for him to just be kind of like, oh, they're both busy, you know, he doesn't understand that we're working and that we're providing for him. He just sees I'm not being, you know, paid any
Being
attention.
Ignored.
Yeah, exactly.
But honestly, Danielle, your hard work in doing that, and I know that's hard work, is paying off, because Watson is the smartest baby
He really is.
I've ever met.
I can't see it because my
He really
microphone.
is.
I just love
And
him.
let's also like point out, like, you're still there with him while you're doing it.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So it's not like you have him in an unsafe, place.
No.
You are still giving him that safe environment that he loves. You're just slightly distracted because you have to work occasionally.
For sure.
And I think that'll grow into being a good lesson for him too, when he does see both of his parents working. I know, like Aaron, for example, he's 9, and he overheard me talking about this podcast. He was so excited and proud, you guys. One of my neighbors said, I think that this is supposed to be a secret, but just so you know, Aaron's telling everyone.
Oh my gosh, that makes me so happy.
No. So eventually, Watson seeing you guys work, when he can actually grasp that concept, is going to be a good lesson for him.
I love that.
I love that. That is so cute, because Owen just rolls his eyes these days. Like, mom's doing something else.
He's at that age.
Yeah, well, mom's got to keep herself busy, because if I didn't, I'd be in your bedroom playing with you every second at 13 and a half. Is that what you want, child? I mean, it's that, or I have a podcast. And it's just so sweet to like be able to, again, see the different seasons we're all in. That like I hear Danielle talking about Watson and how he's so little and he's just absorbing everything, and he would know if you're distracted and everything. And then, Bridgette's kiddos are really smack dab in between our ages. I love that our ages are so spread out, and it's so sweet to see their reactions to things. And I mean, again, we're still very present in their life. So the fact that we have that privilege to be present even when we're working, I just think that's such an amazing blessing.
And it is a privilege, and it's something that I think that we often take for granted. I mean, I used to work a 9-to-5 job. I actually worked nights sometimes too when I had Aaron when he was really small. And that was really difficult because I was tied to a desk. I worked from home, but I was, tied to my desk, and I couldn't run upstairs if he was crying, or, someone was with him. He wasn't alone. But
right.
There's times where as a mom, you want to run in and rescue and check on things. And I would be on an active phone call with a client and I couldn't jump up.
For sure.
It's a good point, because I know a lot of our viewers do have that 9-to-5 type desk job, or, just another, like you punch in and punch out type of job. And there's a lot of different struggles that come with that. While it's more predictable, maybe you can plan a little bit better than what we may be able to. There's still so many struggles. It just, the face of them looks a little different.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's so fun though. But again, that's why I love this podcast, because I think it's just something that like maybe today didn't offer a lot of value to our viewership, other than them hearing that they're not alone.
Yeah.
Which,
struggles,
we all needed to hear that at some point.
Yeah.
And
so I guess, sorry, I totally cut you off.
You're fine. Go ahead.
We're new to this. I guess one of the things that I would love to hear, other than my dog barking, is
right on cue.
In the comments, wherever you're watching or listening to this, I would love to know what your struggle is. We actually had an Instagram reply I don't know if you guys saw that, but one mom is struggling with working full time and homeschooling. And that's something we didn't even touch on. That's a whole episode in and of itself.
We will totally talk about that.
That is a whole episode because like myself, not only am I trying to work, be a good mom, but also substitute being the teacher this year and the end of last year. And let's just be fair to say, our plates are not that big. They are just not that big. Even if your kid is still, if they're lucky enough to actually be in the classroom full time right now, it doesn't matter because in the blink of an eye, we have to be prepared that they might not be tomorrow. So it's just not a typical, a typical normal year. And so I think, for that sweet mama who left that comment, it's a struggle for anyone doing it. And anyone who's saying that it's not a struggle, they are lying.
Or they're kidding themselves because it's totally a struggle.
And I guess if they can do all three without issue.
I couldn't tell you one person who can do all three and not feel like it's a struggle. Not one person.
I'm doing it and I'm actually, knock on wood, we're surviving.
Perfect word.
We're surviving. But that by no means it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
That means like I'm living, breathing very little time of my own.
Mm-hmm.
But as moms, that's what we're called to do. I mean, that's just part of our responsibility and we'll get it done. And I think that's what I love about moms in general. Really, there's nothing you can't throw on our plate that we don't get done or figure out.
We are resilient.
Except laundry.
And meals. But you know what? This is the thing.
You just start labeling things off.
Yeah. Let's just keep throwing those things out. But at the end of the day, we don't necessarily do it because we have other options.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There's drive-thrus. There's other food. There's especially the DoorDash now. I mean, literally anything can get delivered to your front door unless you live where I live and then you can't. However, you can even get, there's laundry facilities. Yes.
Amazon, new clothes. So you don't have to do laundry. These are just options.
Yeah. I mean, if you have an unlimited budget, just keep buying new clothes. No, but there's even laundry, services that you can take advantage of. And I've said this for the last probably 10 years. If I could afford an Alice like on the Brady Bunch, I
all day
would sleep on the couch so she had a room. And Marcus would just have to deal with it. Alice gets a room. Who wouldn't want an Alice? And Danielle, especially at like Watson's age, if he's taking a nap, like you could run out at that time, but you can't leave him alone.
Right. Nope.
You know what I mean? So if you just had a body here during some of those times, think of how much more productive we could be just because a body is here. A body's here to let out the dogs. And then we don't have to come home to do so. Or a body's here to preheat the oven so we have that 15-minute like head start to getting dinner started. And that's I'm like, oh, I would love an Alice. For everyone listening, would you also love an Alice?
And if you have one, does she have references?
I just had a really random thought.
Yeah. Should we get an Alice?
I might just have, maybe I became a millionaire here. So lots of things can be run off of apps, right?
Yeah.
Are there smart stoves and ovens that you can start and preheat from an app?
I don't know if there is yet, but I do believe that there is a smart crock pot.
What?
Yes. However, so I actually had a past client who was like an engineer type person. I was like, this is what I need. I need a refrigerated crock pot that also can cook. So I can keep it refrigerated, say until 12 o'clock. And then I can click her on and cook it so that way it's not overcooked and extremely mushy because Marcus is right. When I crock pot it, it's when I've left at 7:30 in the morning, we're eating it at 5:30. Of course it's going to be mush. But if it
sometimes super dried out if you don't,
absolutely. I just mix it all good and use a liquid. And
and you know what? I'm a crock pot connoisseur. I don't know if you guys know that about me. I own a crock pot in every shape and size. I mean, I have a little one. I have a giant one. I have the middle one. I have two middle ones.
What?
Look at this Bridgette of ours.
I know. But the new ones, I'm telling you, cook faster. Like they either heat up but I don't know. But I have ruined several meals recently, my husband will tell you, because they cook too fast.
I will say if I'm cooking a meal on a 4-hour window, it really is almost, I don't want to say the word burning the meat, but indeed burning the meat, and I'm like, whoa, slow down, slow cooker. Like that's the whole point of you. You're supposed to be slow. And mine is I have a 4, 6, 8, and then I keep her warm. And the keep her warm is a nice feature, but I agree with you 100%, Bridget. I feel like they just do cook differently than they used to.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's old.
From the 90s will kill you if you leave it plugged in all night, according to This Is Us. So what do you do?
What do you do? And see, circles right back down to that mom guilt.
It always comes full circle.
Full circle. That mom guilt that says if we cook something overnight, we're dead. It's just awful. But I can't wait to hear some of these recipes maybe, or just tricks. Like maybe they're just totally aware of something. We have no clue.
Yeah.
We know you guys are killing it out there. Everybody's killing it. Let us know.
Yeah, I've seen a couple really good Facebook posts with some delicious recipes. And I had a gal yesterday responded on a Facebook post of the podcast, and she was just saying that she would be interested in like the meal thing too. And I think that's a whole episode within itself.
For sure.
Like really not just, you can go on Pinterest and it's an amazing tool. Amazing. But where do you start? Anyone can make anything look good, but is it really going to taste good? Does it really cook that way? And she was asking, like, she would love to have like a resource for tried and true recipes that have been tweaked or whatever, that actually when you put it on the plate, it's actually a good meal. Fall apart or whatever. And I go, oh, I love that, because I do look through the cookbook and I'm like, oh, this looks good. But that's from professional chefs that are doing it.
Right.
I just need a I didn't burn it type of cookbook.
Right.
Although I totally understand what you're saying about the burning the food, Danielle, because when I was pregnant, I had I enjoyed burnt tasting things.
I just do. I mean,
we're just making a face. I can't help what baby Owen was wanting at that time, Bridgette.
I hear you.
Didn't crave anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I felt like almost gypped. Like there was nothing.
Chili cheese fries. When I was pregnant with Aaron, it's all I wanted. Chili cheese fries.
I dig them.
Yeah.
And I would say I didn't necessarily crave the burnt toast. It's just I had a taste for it more than I could stomach it. It was something about it that I just was like, oh, this kind of hits the spot a little bit better.
Interesting.
A whole episode on pregnancy cravings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a lot that we can bring to you guys. So we hope that you'll stick around and hang in there with us as we kind of navigate this medium, because this is new to all of us. But
for sure.
We're enjoying it so far.
Before we wrap it up, I just wanted to shout out to everybody and thank them. We did launch this week. We sent out our first launch podcast, and thank you to everybody who has subscribed to our YouTube channel, who has liked our Instagram, started following us on Facebook. We really appreciate it so much. And we feel the love, guys.
We do. I feel like it exceeded my expectations personally.
Mine too.
I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I think we were hoping for success, but we were anticipating slow growth. Just from yesterday, from us just posting that one intro, basically, it was just so fun to see the encouragement, and I know I loved it. So I'm with you, Danielle. We are so grateful.
Yeah.
We love you guys.
For sure.
Yeah. So stay tuned. Next week, we will be back with a new topic, new things to discuss. We'll look for new questions or feedback from our listeners and our viewers. But I think that's a wrap on this one. I think we did it.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Any final words, ladies?
That's it. Just go easy on yourself. Go easy.
I love that. I love that. It's, the world is hard enough. We don't have to be hard on ourselves.
Oh, I love that. Like, until next week, go easy on yourself.
There
That's
you
the
go.
perfect way to end this. I love it,
Love
Bridgette.
it.
We appreciate everyone being here.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.